Hi everyone, welcome to lilthings. I'm here to help you find comfort within yourself through crocheting. So for today's tutorial, it's a miffy glasses tray. It's literally so viral on TikTok, and of course I have to make a tutorial on it for you guys. I'm going to use 5 ply cotton yarn and I'm going to double strand them, or you can just use 10 ply yarn. And I'm going to be using the color white and black. For the hook size, I'm using 5.5mm hook, or you could use 6. And then I'll be using felt as well. I recommend getting the thin and crispy ones. Next up is glue. I personally use UXU, around 5 stitch markers, darning needles, and scissors. So without further ado, let's get right into the tutorial. So for this project, I'm going to use these 2 balls of white. So I just take these 2 strands of yarn. From now on, I'm going to see these 2 strands as just one strand. The working yarn, which is this yarn connected to the yarn ball, becomes thicker and we'll get through our project much faster. So we're going to start by doing a slip knot. I'm going to hold onto the ends here using my right hand. And for my left hand, I'm going to point up 2 fingers. Then I'm going to grab the working yarn like this towards the left a little bit. After this, I'm going to twist my fingers. And so that will create a loop on my left hand. I'm going to grab onto the end through the loop on my left hand. So I'm going to slide my thumb in and then grab the end on my right. Once I've grabbed onto it, we're going to pull it through the loop, drop the loop, and then we're going to pull the working yarn in the loop tight. This is our first step of our piece. Congrats! Grab onto the end. And as you can see, the loop is much smaller. And the way I'm holding my supply yarn strand that's connected to the yarn ball is called the working yarn. I'm just going to place my working yarn on my palm. I'm going to hold it in, kind of like pointing a gun. I'm going to bring my piece behind my index finger and over like this. Then I'm going to hold my piece using my thumb and my middle finger. So like this. While my index finger is always pointed up. So when we crochet, we would crochet from the working yarn. So the working yarn would like slide on our index finger like this. And then now the way I'm holding the hook, I'm just holding it like how I'm writing. And then now let's start crocheting. First, we're gonna make a foundation chain. We're gonna insert our hook into the loop here. Just gonna place it into that. This loop is a little bit too big for our hook. Just pull the end a little bit, so that would tighten the loop, not too tight, not too loose. Then we're gonna start by making a foundation chain. So basically we're just going to make the foundation chain, which is this part, and then from then on we can like work in rounds like this to expand our piece outwards. So we're just gonna make the center part here. To make the foundation chain, it's just a bunch of chains. So to chain, so this is the working yarn, we're gonna bring our hook behind and over the working yarn. That's called a yarn over. Behind and over like this. And then our hook is grabbed onto the working yarn. Then we're just going to pull it through the loop on our hook. Like this. And that would create one chain. And then we're going to do this again. We're going to do this for a total of 18. So we've done our first. So we've got 17 left. So yarn over again. Bring our hook to the back of the working yarn. Over and on top like this. Once we've grabbed onto it, pull it through the loop on your hook. Like this. Now we're going to do this again. Yarn over. Behind, over, and on top like this. Then just pull it through the loop on your hook. Like this. As you can see, we've done 3, and each V represents a chain. We're going to do our 4th, so yarn over. Bring your hook behind, over, and on top. Then just pull it through the loop on your hook. Like this. Then again, yarn over. Bring our hook over and on top of the working yarn. Pull it through the loop on your hook. Like this. And then do this again. Yarn over. Then pull it through. We're just going to repeat this until we have 18 V, which is chains in total. So now we got 6, we're just gonna do 12 more. So now I've got 18 chains, as you can see. Now what we're gonna do for round 1 is to make stitches all around. So we're gonna make from the top here, go around and the bottom, and then go around here. So the stitches that we're gonna do is called single crochet. It's the shortest stitch and the easiest. We're gonna insert our hook and place our first single crochet into the second chain from hook. So as you can see here, it's a bunch of V's underneath our hook. That's the closest chain from our hook. Then the one below it, the second V, is the second chain from hook. And that is exactly where we're gonna insert our hook into. So just stick our hook right in the middle of the V. So you can see that there's like 2 sides, like choop choop. We just insert a hook right in the middle. So you should be going under a loop, like this. After this, we're going to do a yarn under. So bring our hook over, like in the front of the working yarn, in the front, over and under. As you can see, our hook is on top of the working yarn. Once we've grabbed onto the yarn, we're gonna pull it through the first loop, which is the chain loop. So just pull it through the chain, and that will bring up a loop. Now we got 2 loops on our hook. We're just gonna yarn over. So yarn over means to bring it behind and over, and that is the opposite of yarning under, which is what we've done just now. After we've grabbed onto the yarn, pull it through both loops, like this. And congrats, this is your very first single crochet. Essentially, our whole piece is just a bunch of single crochet, so don't worry. If you have done the stitch, you're gonna be able to finish the whole piece. I'm gonna use the blue stitch marker to indicate that it's the first stitch. So as you can see here, if you look at your stitch from above, you'll be able to see a V here, and that V represents the stitch. Where we're gonna insert our hook or a stitch marker is underneath the V. Underneath it, and that is how we mark the very first stitch. Now I'm just gonna place my hook back into the loop, to just pull the working yarn to tighten it to make it smaller, and then now we're just gonna make one single crochet on every single chain all across here, and we should make 16 in total, just leaving 1 chain left. So now we're gonna do our second single crochet. As you can see, the first chain is very stretched out here, and now we're just gonna move 1 stitch towards the left, which is this, and then we're just gonna insert our hook right into the middle of the V. Again here, it's going under a loop. This is the chain. Then we're just gonna yarn under. So bring our hook forward, over, and under, like this. Basically, your hook is sitting on top of the working yarn. Pull it through the chain, and that will bring up a loop. Now we got 2 loops on our hook. We're just gonna yarn over and pull it through all 2. So yarn over, bring our hook under and over the working yarn. Now the yarn is wrapped around our hook once. Pull it through 2 loops on our hook, like this. And that is our second stitch. Now we're gonna continue. We're gonna move our finger towards the left for 1 chain, insert your hook into the next upcoming V, which is the chain, and you should be going under a loop here. Bring our hook forward, over, on top of the working yarn, then pull it through the chain, and that will bring up a loop. Now we've got 2 loops on our hook. Yarn over, so bring your hook under and over the working yarn, and then pull it through 2 loops on your hook, the first loop and the second loop, just like this. So first it's yarn under, you go in front and then behind like this, and then the second time it's under and over like this. So it's the opposite. So let's do this again. We're gonna move our finger towards the left, and this is our next chain. So insert your hook into the chain like this, then do a yarn under. So bring our hook in the front, on top, over like this, then pull it through the loop, pull it through the chain, and that will bring up a loop. Now I got 2 loops on our hook. Yarn over, just pull it through both loops. Now we're gonna do this again. Insert your hook into the upcoming stitch, upcoming chain. Should be going under a loop. Now we're gonna go yarn under, so bring our hook to the front, over and on top, pull it through the chain. Now that would bring up a loop. Now we got 2 loops in total. Now we're gonna do yarn over, so bring our hook under, behind, and over. The working yarn should wrap around your hook once. Now we're gonna pull it through both loops on your hook, and that would create 1 single crochet. Now we have 5 single crochet in total. We just need a total of 16 single crochet. So I'm just gonna continue making stitches all across, then I'm gonna leave out my last chain here. Again, insert your hook into the next chain, and then just do a yarn under, so bring your hook forward and behind, then pull it through. Then now we're gonna do a yarn over, so go under, over, and on top. Pull it through both loops on your hook. Now I'm just gonna finish it off, and then I'll meet you on the second last chain. By the way, I'm using my own yarn. It's called milk cotton yarn, and it's made of 60% cotton and 40% acrylic. This is perfect for beginner because the stitches are very clear, making it very easy to learn and to work with. And we have 60 colors in total, so you don't have to worry about not finding the perfect shade. But beyond just the yarn, our brand is all about helping you find comfort within yourself. So easy to get caught up chasing external validation and forget to take time for yourself. Our yarn is not only specifically made for beginners, but also have the intention of creating a peaceful night in where you can take a step back, relax, and enjoy your own company. We are launching hopefully in a month, so join our waitlist down in the description box so you'll be first to get notified when we launch. Love you! I've got 16 stitches in total, and then now I have just 1 chain left. We're going to place 3 single crochet into that chain. So I'm gonna place my first single crochet, just like normal. This is my first single crochet. We're gonna place another one, and then we're gonna turn our work and then place our third one. And from then on, we're gonna start working on the bottom of the foundation chain. So that creates a round. Let's place our second single crochet right into the same chain, which is this hole right here. It's very stretched out. Just insert it back into the stitch, the chain, yarn under, pull up a loop. Now I've got 2 loops on our hook, yarn over, pull through. We're gonna turn our work so that the bottom part of the chain is facing up. Now we're gonna place our third inside the same chain. It's very easy to spot where to insert your hook because it's like it literally has a hole. Just insert it right into the same chain. Place our last. This, as you can see, the hole is just gonna close up the gap using the tail. Just pull it, and as you can see, once you pull it, the gap has disappeared. See all these single crochet at the bottom? We're always gonna have 1 single crochet on top of the bottom double crochet here. These are the 3 single crochet that we did. These 3, we can just ignore them because it's like a turning point. The 4th one from our hook, 1, 2, 3, 4. This stitch, we're just going to place our very first single crochet on top of this stitch. So just ignore these 1, 2, 3. Ignore this. Just focus on this. So this stitch right here, we're just gonna insert it right at the top. Just insert it right here. Just go under a loop on the top here. Then I'm just gonna place a single crochet here. Like this. We're gonna make our second stitch. See this next stitch here at the bottom here? Just insert your hook right on the top of the stitch, and that will make you go under a loop here. And then essentially that's like the other half of the chain. You know how chain are made up of like this or this? It's just basically a V. At the start of the foundation chain, we only inserted our hook into the upper loop of the chain. We go under this, and then now when we turn our work, this would be like the single crochet, and now we're just crocheting on this loop. So continue with our stitch. We're gonna yarn under first, pull it through. Now we've got 2 loops on our hook, yarn over, pull through both loops. And then as you can see, and then we've made this, and then now we're gonna go 1 stitch towards the left, insert your hook into this space right here, and then do yarn under and pull it through, and then gonna do a yarn over and then pull it through. Now we're just gonna do it again. This is our next stitch. Insert your hook right on top of it, going under a loop here, and then just do a yarn under and then yarn over, a single crochet like this. I'm gonna repeat this until I reach the last stitch here. Now I'm on my second last stitch. How do I tell? I basically count the number of stitches I have left at the bottom, because they will always have a corresponding stitch. I'm gonna insert my hook. This. And then this here is my last stitch. And then for the last stitch, we are going to place 2 double crochet in the exact same stitch. And we're gonna have a total of 3, because plus the one we have at the bottom, we got 3 single crochet in total. And that is to create the round, the turning point, just like the opposite side. Let me just place 2 single crochet in this exact spot. This is my first, going back into the same space. And then this is my second. And then the bottom here, this one with the stitch marker, is our third. So now we got 3 in total. Now we have finished round 1, and to actually finish it, we're just going to connect the last stitch here to the very first stitch here. Just connect it. So I'm just gonna remove my stitch marker. Every stitch is made out of V like this. So this loop is called the front loop, the one that's closer to us. The opposite one, the loop that's further away from us, is called the back loop. So now to connect to the very first stitch, we are going to insert a hook into the back loop. So this loop, the loop that's further away from us. So insert your hook right in the middle of the V, and then come up on the back of the loop, the back loop, like this. So basically your back loop is on your hook. Now what we're gonna do is to do a slip stitch. So that will connect the last stitch to the start. So do a yarn over, go under your working yarn, over, under and over behind like this. And then we're gonna pull it through just the back loop like this, as well as the loop on our hook, like this. And then this part is very important. I cannot stress this enough. We have to tighten this. Tighten it hard. Now we have actually finished off our round 1. Congrats! You can finish this. I'm so excited because you're definitely gonna finish the whole thing. And the height of a single crochet is just 1 chain. To start a round, we need to give height for the stitches. So we're just going to chain 1, yarn over, pull it through the loop on your hook, like this. You might be wondering, where do we insert our hook? We're basically gonna go under the V. Stick your hook underneath the V. And I'm gonna demonstrate this. This parallel line here, which supposedly should be a V, we're just gonna stick our hook underneath this. Because the back loop might be very stretched out, I like to just use this part, the tip part of the hook, to kind of pick up the front loop. Kind of like this, pick it up like this, and then go under the back loop like this. And you can see you got 2 loops, which is a V now on your hook. Basically gonna go under the loop, under the V. Now we're gonna place our first single crochet on round 2. So go under, yarn under, pull it through the stitch. Now we've got 2 loops on our hook, yarn over. So bring it under, over and on top. Pull it through both loops on our hook, like this. And then since this is our very first stitch, place a stitch marker. And the way I'm putting the stitch marker is also under the V. So I would like to just do a little bit explaining of what and why we're doing everything that we're doing later. So as you can see, we're gonna start from the middle here, and we've done a round one. We're going to expand in rounds. This is a semicircle, like this part is a semicircle. And then this part is a semicircle. This middle section here remains the same, so it's the same number of stitches all the time. We're gonna have little increases. Increase means putting 2 stitches in 1 stitch. So increases only happen on the semicircle, which is on the side here. In the middle, it's always going to be 15 stitches at a time. We are on our first stitch, we're on the semicircle, and then after the semicircle, we're just going to do 15 stitches. No increases, no anything, just 1 stitch at a time in the middle part here. Then when we reach the side, which is the turning point, that's the semicircle, we're gonna have increases. And then we're gonna turn, we are going to do just 15 stitches. And no matter how many rounds we do, we can do like 100 rounds, the middle part here would always remain just 15 stitches. 15 stitches, and then the part that's actually expanding is just the semicircle. Okay, so yeah, I just want to get it out of the way so that it wouldn't be confusing later. So essentially we're gonna make another stitch into the exact same stitch that we made our first stitch, and that is called an increase, putting 2 stitches in 1 stitch. We can clearly see that the first stitch is coming out from this stitch, and we're just going to insert our hook right into where we made our stitch. And we just insert it like this, and then we're gonna make a single crochet. So yarn under, pull through. Now we got 2 loops on our hook, yarn over, pull through. To make it more clear for us, on every semicircle, whenever the semicircle ends, which is these 2 points, we're also going to put a stitch marker. And then on top of that, we're also putting a stitch marker on the very first stitch of each round. So in total, we'll have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 stitch marker in total. To mark the very first stitch, I'm gonna use a blue stitch marker. For any stitch marker to mark where the semicircle ends, I'm just gonna use orange and yellow because I ran out of orange. So for this one, even though we just put a stitch marker here, this is where the semicircle ends. We're just gonna place a stitch marker on there. Just place it under the V like this. So you have 2 consecutive stitch markers. Essentially, we have met this 15 stitches part in the middle where it's very consistent. So we just have to count 15 stitches. So we're gonna make 1, 2, 3 to here. So insert our hook into the next stitch. So to know where the next stitch is, you can see that there's a bunch of V's. So essentially the next V, we're going to insert our hook under the V like this. And then just place a single crochet like this. And then we're just going to make 1 stitch at a time until we have 15 stitches. And this is our first stitch. And then insert our hook into the next V. As you can see here, we're just going under the V. Yarn under, pull through, yarn over, pull through. And we're just going to do this again. Insert your hook into the stitch and place a single crochet. And so far we've made 3, so 1, 2, 3, and now we have 12 more to go. Now we just have 15 single crochet. So we have reached the semicircle on the left, and for these 3 stitches, we are all going to place a single crochet increase, which means placing 2 single crochet on each stitch. So let's place our very first single crochet into the first stitch. This is our first stitch of the single crochet. To mark the stitch, because this is the start of the semicircle, we are going to go back into the exact same stitch you can see where it came from. Just go back into it and place another one. Like this. Onto the next stitch, which is here. We're gonna insert a hook into that. Just place 2 single crochet. So this is our first single crochet, and then the second single crochet of the stitch of the increase. So this is my second single crochet increase. And then the third one, insert your hook into the third stitch. Place our first single crochet. And then going back into the same stitch. And then just place another one. And then this would be the end of the semicircle. Just gonna grab the stitch marker and mark this. We have reached the sides. It's just 15 single crochet, no increases, no anything. Just place 1 stitch at a time until we've finished 15. So let me just quickly do that. It's exact same on the opposite side. My second stitch, and then so on. So now I have just finished 15 single crochet on this side, and then I have reached where the semicircle starts. So as you remember, at first we've done 1 set of single crochet increase. Now we're left with 2 stitches, which means 2 sets of single crochet increases. So insert your hook into the next stitch, place our first single crochet like this. For the start of the semicircle, place our stitch marker to mark where it starts. Then we're just going to go into the exact same stitch, place another single crochet into that to make an increase. Now we got 1 stitch left. This is our last stitch. Insert our hook into that. It's exact same. Then just place 2 single crochet like this. And then our one last step to actually complete round 2 is to connect it to the very first stitch. This is the very first stitch with the blue stitch marker. And I'm just going to take this out and see how that there is a V here. There is a V. This is the front loop. The opposite loop is the back loop. We're just going to slide our hook into the back loop. Only gonna pick up the back loop, and then we're just gonna do a slip stitch. So after inserting our hook, yarn over, pull it through the back loop of the stitch, as well as pull it through the loop on your hook. After this, you'll be able to see you've made an extra V here. This step is very important. We gotta tighten it so that the V disappears. As you can see, it's like a little knot now. You can't really see it. Tightening it is very important, or else on the next round you're going to mistake it as a stitch. Now after this, we're going to start round 3. So to start round 3, to start basically any round, we have to chain 1. So that's what we're going to do. Yarn over, pull it through the loop on your hook, and that would create 1 chain. And then now let's make our very first stitch. So to make our first stitch, as you can see, that you can't really see a V because we have grabbed onto the back loop when we do the slip stitch. The front loop is actually here and it's tiny. So what I like to do is to just use this part of the hook, kind of pick it up, pick up this loop, pick up the front loop to kind of like stretch it out a little bit, and then just go through the back loop like this. After this, we're going to place our very first single crochet on round 3. So yarn under, pull it through, yarn over, pull through. And that is our first stitch for the round. For every first stitch, we need to mark this. So just insert a stitch marker and each round onwards. For the semicircle, there's going to be a pattern. For the second row, we did increase in every single stitch on the semicircle. On this round, we're gonna do 1 single crochet followed by 1 single crochet increase, and then 1 single crochet, 1 increase. And then for the upcoming round, it'll be 2 single crochet, 1 increase, 2 single crochet, 1 increase. So you see the pattern here? So now we've made our first single crochet, and then it's followed by just single crochet increase. So remove your stitch marker from the previous round. Insert your hook into the next stitch and just place an increase. So I've just placed 2 single crochet in 1 stitch. This is the end of the semicircle. Don't be lazy because this is going to help so much. This is the side where we just place 15 single crochet. Place my first one, insert your hook into the next stitch. And then this is my first. Insert your hook into the next stitch. Just place a second single crochet, like this. And then again. And then essentially it's just gonna be the same. We've done it twice in round 1. Then we're gonna finish this off until we reach the stitch marker. So I'm just gonna place just 1 single crochet at a time. I have reached the start of my semicircle. From then on, here to here, this curve here, we're gonna do 1 single crochet increase, 1 single crochet increase, 1 single crochet increase. Take out my stitch marker here. I'm gonna place my very first single crochet in this semicircle. This is my first single crochet. Then for the next stitch, it's going to be single crochet increase. My first single crochet of the increase, going back into the same stitch, place another one. This is an increase. Then again, just single crochet, then followed by single crochet increase. So putting 2 single crochet in 1 stitch. This is my first, and going back into the same stitch, the second, like this. Single crochet here. And then our last single crochet increase. Take out your stitch marker, place an increase here. Like this. And this stitch is the end of the semicircle. Mark it with stitch marker. Here, all the way until the stitch marker is just 15 single crochet like we did on the opposite side. So I'm just gonna crochet 1 stitch at a time here. 1 single crochet, again followed by just 1 single crochet, 15 single crochet all across the side. Essentially, it's just what it looks like. Just place 1 single crochet until the stitch marker, and then I've reached the stitch marker, and then we have 2 sets of single crochet increase, and then we're done with round 3. Take out your stitch marker, place our first single crochet of this semicircle on the left. So here, this is my first single crochet of the semicircle. Put it back, put the stitch marker back into the stitch here. Then just place an increase for the following stitch. Sorry. Like this. And then we have 1 set left, so just 1 single crochet, and then 2 increase. See how there is still 1 V here? You might be wondering, do I have to crochet into that? No, you don't. That is the chain 1 from the start of the round to give height for the single crochet. Don't mistake in that. You should end on an increase here. Now you should have something that looks like this. Essentially, that's what we're gonna repeat. It's gonna be the exact same. The only thing that's gonna be different is really just the semicircle. For the next round, it's 2 single crochet, increase, 2 single crochet, increase, 2 single crochet, increase. And if you make it this far, I'm so proud of you. I'm sure finishing up the rest of the rounds, rest of the piece is really easy for you. By the end of each round, we have to connect to the very first stitch. So this blue stitch marker, which indicates the first stitch, we're gonna take this out. We're gonna insert a hook, just gonna go through the back loop of the V. Then we're gonna do a yarn over, pull it through the back loop, pull it through the loop on your hook as well, and then just pull it. Pull it really tight. Very important, cannot miss that. After this, do a chain 1, so yarn over, pull it through the loop on your hook. Now you can't see a V, don't panic. We're gonna use the hook to pick up the little front loop that's left here. Just gonna pick it up like this. And just place our first single crochet like this. And for very first single crochet, you have to place a stitch marker. We're gonna start with a single crochet increase and then followed by 2 single crochet. Just going back into the same stitch here. Place another single crochet, and that would create a single crochet increase. And the following 2 stitches just going to be 2 single crochet like this. 1 single crochet, and then just take out place another single crochet on the next stitch. And since this would be the end of the semicircle, we have to mark it. And then now this stitch onwards until the stitch marker is going to be 15 single crochet. And I'm just going to go ahead and quickly crochet this through because it's very repetitive. And then we've reached the stitch marker, which is the semicircle. And we're just going to do increase first. But before the increase, we're going to make our first single crochet into the semicircle first stitch. This is my first stitch. Insert our stitch marker. And since this is an increase, insert your hook back into the same stitch. Do an increase. And then it's followed by 2 separate single crochet. This is my first single crochet. And then going to the next stitch, another single crochet. Just 1. And then this set is finished. We got 2 sets left. So do a single crochet increase on the next stitch. My first single crochet of the increase, going back into the same stitch, doing the second single crochet of the stitch. Then we're going to do 2 separate single crochet. And then the second one. We got 3 stitches left. We're going to repeat it again. Increase. Like this. Followed by just 1 single crochet. And then we've reached the last stitch of the semicircle. We're just going to place just 1 single crochet there. And then place a stitch marker to mark the end of it, like this. And then we are going to just place 1 single crochet all across until the stitch marker. And I'm just gonna meet you when I've done putting the 15 single crochet. And then now I've reached the semicircle. And I'm just gonna place my increase to the first stitch of the semicircle. I'm gonna mark it with my stitch marker. And then going back into the same stitch to make an increase. And then make 2 separate single crochet. It's my first and the second. And then we're gonna do a single crochet increase. Followed by 2 separate single crochet. 1, 2. like this. And ta-da, we have finished our round 4. We're very close to finishing the whole piece. We are just going to connect to the very first stitch here to actually finish off round 4. So just gonna take out the stitch marker, going to insert your hook into the back loop of the first stitch. So yarn over, pull it through everything, the loop, the back loop, as well as the loop on your hook. Then tighten this. So we're gonna chain 1 first, yarn over, pull through the loop on your hook. Then we're gonna make our first single crochet. So to make it, we're just gonna insert a hook. Most likely need to use the hook to kind of pick it up, the front loop. Now I've picked up the front loop, I'm gonna go through the back loop, like this. After this, just place our first single crochet. Then place our first stitch. Mark the first stitch. So for this sequence for round 5, it's essentially 3 single crochet, 1, 2, 3, and then increase. And then it's just gonna repeat, increase 1, 2, 3, increase 1, 2, 3. We're gonna make 2 more to have a total of 3. This is my second single crochet, going into the next stitch. Our third single crochet. We're just going to place an increase here. First stitch of the increase, second stitch of the increase. For the second stitch, we're just going to place the stitch marker into the stitch. And then we're just going to place 15 single crochet all across here, the side. Now I've reached the semicircle, and it's just going to be the exact same on the opposite as what we did just now. So placing 3 single crochet first. So I'm going to place my first, then remember to mark this. And after this, place 2 more, my second and my third. And then on my fourth, it's going to be an increase. So at this point, it's really just getting repetitive. As long as you remember the pattern, you'll be fine, because the rest of it is just the exact same. So now I've done my set 1, I'm gonna do my second set. So just place my first single crochet, and then my second, and then I'm gonna place my third. And then it's followed by increase. And then I'm on my last set now. I got 4 stitches left. And then just gonna place 3 single crochet. And at this point, I'm just gonna go a little bit faster because I'm sure everyone has already got the hang of it. Kind of know how this whole thing works. At the end, the increase would end the semicircle. Like this. Place a stitch marker to mark the end of the semicircle. And then now we should have something that looks like this. I'm just going to crochet all across 15 stitches until the stitch marker. Then I've reached the semicircle. Then I'm just going to do the exact same thing. So 3 single crochet first, but remember to mark the very first stitch. So my second and third single crochet. And then it's followed by an increase. Then 3 single crochet, 1, 2, 3, and then followed by an increase on my last stitch here. Like this. Connect to the very first stitch. Go through the back loop and then do a slip stitch. So yarn over, pull through the loop on your hook. Then just tighten it. I'm gonna make a chain 1, so yarn over, pull through the loop on your hook. And then we're just going to make our very first single crochet of the round for round 6. So pick up the front loop, just go through the back loop like this, then just place our very first single crochet, and then use the stitch marker. So for round 6, we're going to start by making the single crochet increase. So going back into the same stitch that we did, just going to place an extra single crochet like here, and then it's followed by 4 single crochet. So we're just gonna place one stitch at a time for 4 times. My first single crochet, my second single crochet, and I apologize for crocheting kind of like in a rush because I don't want to make this video too long, and I think everybody kind of got the gist of things. And then this is my 4th single crochet. And then we're just going to insert our hook, insert the stitch marker to mark the last stitch. I'm just gonna go ahead and finish the 15 stitches until the stitch marker. And then here on the semicircle, it's gonna be the same. We're gonna start by making the increase first. My first single crochet, we have to mark it anyway in the semicircle, and then we're gonna make another single crochet in the exact same stitch to make the increase, and then we're gonna do 1, 2, 3, 4 single crochet. And then so we got increase, 4 single crochet. Now we have increase, 4 single crochet, increase, 4 single crochet. So essentially it's just like this, and I'm just gonna go ahead and finish the semicircle here. So I'm gonna do the increase. So I've just done the increase. Now it's followed by 4 single crochet. And now again it's followed by an increase. And then 4 single crochet. Now we're just going to crochet 15 single crochet until the stitch marker here. And then now we've reached the semicircle, we're going to take out the stitch marker and we're going to place a single increase first. So we're going to place another one in the same stitch. So now I started the semicircle with the single crochet increase, followed by 4 single crochet. So 1, 2, 3, and 4. Now this is our last set of the increase in the semicircle, single crochet increase, and then 4 single crochet. I mean like single crochet increase, just 1. So I've done the single crochet increase here, just 4 single crochet left. My first, second, third, and then my last. Like this. So congrats, you have finished the base of our miffy. So this is where your glasses would sit. And now we're gonna make this part right here. As you can see, I made this part like very 90 degrees. We are only gonna crochet our stitches on the front loop only. So remember how the stitches are like this, a V. For the upcoming round, we're only gonna go to the front loop only. So first we're gonna join to the first stitch. So take out your stitch marker, go into the back loop of the first stitch, just do a yarn over, pull through, and pull through. And then now we're gonna yarn chain 1, so yarn over, pull through the loop on your hook. So honestly now we can just take out all the stitch marker because we're no longer making the semicircle or anything. We're just gonna place 1 stitch at a time, no increases or anything. So after we've chain 1, we're only gonna be doing our single crochet in the front loop only. So we're gonna pick up the front loop, just gonna pick it up like this. Now we're gonna make a single crochet like this, and then place the stitch marker to mark the first stitch. And then from then on, we're just going to place one stitch at a time here. So now for the second stitch, see how there's two loops? We're only gonna insert our hook into the front loop. Go under and up, like shoop. And then just place a single crochet, like this. Then again, we're just going to insert our hook into the front loop, come up in the middle of the V, and then just place a single crochet, like this. Cool. Just come up on the front loop only. You should be going just under a loop. Then just place a single crochet, basically just like this, and we're gonna repeat it all around. Let me demonstrate it a few more times. So just going into the front loop, the back loop is at the back here, and then just place a single crochet, like this. Then again, this. So now we're essentially just going to do this all across. Nothing has changed, and I'm just gonna quickly finish it off. Remember, just one stitch at a time, even if you're on the semicircle. And now we're going to connect it to the very first stitch. So take your stitch marker, we're gonna do an invisible join, which is what we've done in the past. Insert your hook into the back loop of the first stitch, yarn over, pull through, and pull through. And then now to start a new round, chain one, so yarn over, pull it through the loop on your hook. We did front loop only, so it's just this. But this round, we're gonna do both loops. So just like what we've done in the past for these few rounds. So now let's make our very first stitch. So I'm gonna go under both loops and then just place a single crochet here. And then for the first stitch, I'm going to mark using the stitch marker. And then we're just going to place one single crochet in each and every stitch. So I'm just going to the next stitch, place a single crochet like this. And then again, place, go into the next stitch, one single crochet, and then the next stitch, going under the V, then do a single crochet. So far we've made 4 single crochet. Essentially we're just gonna do single crochet all across here. This round and the next round, so round 8 and round 9, is just gonna be the exact same. I'm just gonna demonstrate it a few more times. So going under the V, and then just place single crochet. As you can see, I've just placed one single crochet at a time, and I don't want to bore you guys, so I'm just gonna quickly do it until I reach the stitch marker. And we've just completed our round 8. We got one last round to go. Let's go, we got this. Now we just gotta connect to the very first stitch. Again, slip stitch, go into the back loop of the first stitch, yarn over, pull through and pull through. Then tighten it. And then to start a new round, yarn over, pull through the loop on your hook. We are going to place exactly like what we did last round, one single crochet at a time. Do my first single crochet, then again place the stitch marker back into the first stitch. Then I'm just going to repeat what we've done. So go into the next stitch, one single crochet, then again go into the next stitch, going under the V, then one single crochet. So I'm just gonna go ahead and finish it off. So I've just finished our last stitch, and essentially we have just completed the base of our glass holder, and now we just need to fasten it off and connect it back to the very first stitch. So how are we going to do that? We are just going to pull a big loop like this, around this much, and I'm just going to cut it here. Thread the darning needle through so remove the stitch marker. Stick our darning needle under the V of the first loop, of the first stitch, like this. Then just pull it through. So this was the last stitch, and then we're essentially going to create a V, a fake V. So we're just going to insert our needle into back loop of the last stitch. So I'm just going to stick my needle in the middle and then go out from behind, like this. Just pull it, and as you can see, this is a invisible join. This is a very good technique to end the piece. Then now what we're going to do is to tie a knot. We're going to stick our needle into a random loop here. There's a bunch of loops, just a random one, just any loop that you can get your needle into. Then I'm going to hold onto the loop on the left hand. We're going to pull it through halfway. Then we're going to tie a knot, so grab the end of this yarn strand through the loop on the left, like this, and just tighten it. So now we need to thread it through the darning needle again to hide the tail. Stick your needle into any loops that you can get your needle into to just hide the tail inside the stitches. As you can see, I'm just literally quite randomly going through loops, any loops. And after this, you can just pull it through, and then you can just go ahead and cut this yarn. And if you look at your piece from the bottom, we have the tail here, so we just gotta thread this through the darning needle, and then also do the same thing, so just going through loops. Just cut it after threading it through. Ta-da! We now have a base for our glasses holder. So now we're going to make the ears. We're going to be starting our piece with a magic ring. So to do the magic ring, I'm going to hold on to the yarn strand, kind of like pointing like a gun, using my ring finger and pinky. Then I'm going to have these two fingers pointed up, and I'm going to flip my finger like this. I'm still holding on to the end of the yarn strand here. We're going to wrap the yarn strand around our two fingers twice. So first I'm gonna go on top all across my two fingers, and I'm gonna go under my two fingers, and I'm gonna go up again, and then now I'm gonna flip my finger. I'm going to bring the end of the yarn to the palm of my hand, and then I'm gonna hold it with my thumb. So now, as you can see, we have like a cross at the bottom, and then on the top you can see like a parallel line, or yours might look like this. It might not be like parallel. It's fine as long as you have two lines. I'll call this loop the first loop and this loop the second loop. Now, while I'm holding onto everything here, this yarn that's connected to the yarn ball here, this yarn, it's called the working yarn. So that's what we're going to be crocheting with. Now we're going to stick our needle under the first loop. So go under, like in between your fingers, under the loop. Now we're going to use our hook to grab onto the second loop, like this. Once we've grabbed onto it, we're going to pull it through the first loop. After you've pulled it, we're going to twist our yarn, twist our hook like this. So that will create like a little loop on our hook. Then see this working yarn here that's connected to the yarn ball. We're going to slide our hook under the yarn, and then go behind and over and on top like this. Once we've grabbed onto the yarn, the working yarn, we're going to pull it through the loop on our hook. So just pull it through. Might be a little tricky. Yep, once we've pulled it through, then just release everything. And ta-da, here is our magic ring. I'm going to pull the ends here, pull a little bit to make it a tiny bit smaller. Then now we're going to make 6 single crochet in this ring. So first we're going to insert our hook into the ring, and then mind you that the tail here should be caught on your hook. After that, we're going to yarn under, pull it through the ring. Now we got 2 loops on our hook, yarn over, pull it through both loops on your hook. And that is our first stitch marker, just like how we've always done. 5 more single crochet in this ring. So insert your hook into the magic ring. Make sure that the tail is also caught on your hook. Then yarn under, pull up a loop. Now we got 2 loops on our hook. Yarn over, pull it through both loops on your hook. Like this. And then again, we're gonna make our 3rd single crochet. And then I'm gonna make our 4th. And then we got 2 more left. Now we got a total of 6 single crochet, and now we just gotta pull this tail here to close up the gap. And that will create a circle. So once you pull it, as you can see, it kind of closed up immediately. And now we're just gonna connect it back to the very first stitch here, like this. Insert your hook into the back loop of the first stitch. So yarn over, pull through the loop on your hook, and pull through. And just tighten it. After this, we're gonna chain 1 to start round 2. So yarn over and then pull it through the loop on your hook, like this. Now we're gonna make our very first stitch. I've got the front loop here. Now I'm gonna just go through also the back loop. Okay, so I've just gone under both loops. Now I'm gonna make my first single crochet. So I'm just gonna place my single crochet here. And then I'm gonna mark it using my stitch marker. For round 2, every single stitch is going to be a single crochet increase. That means that every stitch we're going to make 2 stitches in 1 stitch for 6 times. I've already put 1 single crochet in there. Just going to go back into the same exact stitch and then just going to place another one. That's my first single crochet increase. Then I'm going to move on to the next stitch. Stick your needle, stick your hook into the next stitch. Do your first single crochet, then going back into the same stitch. Going back here, the little hole, then place the second single crochet. And that is our second single crochet increase. Then we're just gonna do it again for all the stitches we have left. So stick your hook under the V of the next stitch. Then just place our first single crochet. Then just insert our hook back into the same spot, place another one. So there we go. This is how we're gonna do this, and then we're just gonna do it 3 more times. And ta-da, we have finished. And now we're going to connect to the very first stitch. Go through the back loop of the stitch, yarn over, pull through and pull through. Then tighten it. Now we gotta chain 1, and then we're just gonna place our very first single crochet in our first stitch. So I'm gonna place my first single crochet here. And of course, for every first single crochet, you have to mark this. It's very important. And then from this round and onwards, we're just gonna place 1 single crochet on each and every stitch. If you remember here, we didn't do increases starting from these few rounds. So that would create like depth and height for your piece, for this base. We're gonna give height to the miffy ear. So you can basically do however many rounds you want. Then I'm just gonna go ahead and place 1 single crochet on each and every stitch. So insert your hook into the next stitch under the V. Then just place a single crochet like this. This is our second stitch for round 3. Now we're going to insert our hook into the 3rd stitch, do a single crochet, and then again insert your hook into the next stitch, do a single crochet, and then again going under the V. And essentially, it's just going to be, it's going to be the same for the rest of the round, just placing one single crochet at a time, like this, just like what we've done here. Then we're gonna start a new round, so take out your stitch marker. We're going to do a slip stitch, go into the back loop of the stitch, then yarn over, pull through and pull through. Then we're gonna do a chain 1. And then now we're going to make our very first stitch for our round 4. So insert your hook into both stitches, both loops of the first stitch, then place our first single crochet. And then mark it with your stitch marker. Then we're just gonna place one single crochet all across this round, like this. So we're essentially gonna repeat this until round 8. We're gonna do slip stitch and then chain 1. So slip stitch first, and then we're gonna do chain 1. Place just one single crochet on each and every stitch. We're just gonna repeat this, what we've done, for 4 more times until round 8, and I'll meet you when I'm at round 8. I ended up making 9 rounds in total. Then now we have to finish off the ear, so I'm gonna pull a big loop like around like this much. You'd rather have longer tail because we're gonna sew it. So cut it there. I'm gonna take out the stitch marker as well. You just need to sew these 2 sides together. We just go through the stitch, the first stitch, then just align it with the opposite stitch. And essentially we're just gonna go back and forth like this, and then go to the opposite stitch as well. And then we're gonna make 1 more of these. Then we're going to go ahead and sew this onto our tray. So now I've made 2 ears in total. Make sure that they're centered. So I think this is a good position, I guess. And just kind of mark where I want them to be. So yeah, then I'm gonna go ahead and sew one of the ears first. I'm gonna do my right first. So as long as I could align the edge to the stitch marker here, then that would be fine. And we're just going to stick our needle into the inside of the tray. So we just came from this stitch. We're gonna go a stitch higher. We're just gonna come up on the upper stitch, this. Then we're gonna stick our needle into here. So we're just gonna stick it through, across. Then after that, we're gonna go to a stitch to the right and then just stick our needle to here. It's kind of the same concept, basically just going back and forth, and just gonna go a stitch higher, come up on here. Honestly, any way that you can attach it onto the piece would be fine. This is just how I like to do it. And then I'm just going to go across. I'm just gonna go through some loops here. And then going into the next stitch here. After this, go to a stitch higher. And then at the end, you can just pull it up tighter. And then at the end, we're gonna go through any loop that's closest to us, maybe this loop. We're just gonna tie a knot. So we're just gonna pull it through halfway. So grab onto the loop on the left, halfway through. So see this loop that I'm holding onto on my left hand? We're gonna pull this this tail through this loop. And then just pull it tight, and that would create a knot. To hide the tail, we're just gonna stick our needle into the ear inside. And then just cut the ends here. And I'm just gonna go ahead and finish my next one on the left here. So I've just sewed 2 ears to the base. Now we're just gonna grab our felt and then we're gonna draw an eclipse. So it really depends on how big you want the miffy eyes to be. I'm just gonna make it maybe around this. I'm gonna make it around this size. So yeah, I'm gonna draw it and cut it out. So I've cut these 2 lips. I want to position my eyes around this spot. Then I'm gonna go ahead and grab the black yarn and I'm going to cut, you know how the miffy mouth has 2 cross? I'm just gonna cut out the 2 lines this much. So I got 2 strands of yarn, black yarn, and I'm just gonna try and position it in between the 2 eyes and see if I like it or not. So I think I like this position, so I'm just going to grab my UXU and then just go ahead and glue everything. So ta-da, here's your Miffy glasses tray. Look at that! So I hope you guys enjoyed the tutorial. And again, if you like the yarn that we're using, join the waitlist down in the description box and you'll be first to get notified when we launch. I post every Saturday 9 p.m. UTC, so make sure you turn on the notification bell and hit subscribe so you won't miss out on any of the new tutorials coming up. Next tutorial is going to be a bear glasses holder, which is a really similar one to this one. So if you enjoyed this tutorial, come back for next week and I'll see you guys then. See ya!